In 1922, beneath the scorching sands of Egypt, archaeologist Howard Carter stood at the entrance of a tomb untouched for over 3,000 years. He took a breath, lit a candle, and peered inside. "Can you see anything?" his patron, Lord Carnarvon, asked. Carter's response became legendary. "Yes, wonderful things." But what followed was anything but wonderful. Within months of opening Tutankhamun's tomb, a series of bizarre and untimely deaths gripped the world's imagination. Accidents, sudden illnesses, eerie coincidences, all pointing to something sinister lurking in the shadows of the past. Was it a long-forgotten curse placed to protect the boy king? Or just a chilling sequence of misfortunes that spiraled into legend? As we unravel the tale of Tutankhamun's tomb, prepare to step into a mystery that has haunted history for over a century. For centuries, Tutankhamun was little more than a footnote in Egypt's grand history. His reign lasted only about 9 years, from 1332 to 1323 BCE, and his legacy was nearly erased. Yet in 1922, Howard Carter's relentless search led to a breathtaking discovery in the Valley of the Kings. Behind a sealed doorway, the tomb revealed over 5,000 artifacts: golden chariots, intricate jewelry, statues of the gods, and the magnificent 24-pound solid gold death mask of the boy king himself. The walls were adorned with inscriptions and paintings depicting the young pharaoh's journey to the afterlife. Yet even in the golden glow of the relics, a warning loomed. Carved onto the entrance was an inscription: "Death shall come on swift wings to those who disturb the peace of the king." At first, the inscription was dismissed, but then the deaths began. The first to fall was Lord Carnarvon, the financier of the excavation. Just months after the tomb was opened, he was bitten by a mosquito. The wound became infected, and he developed blood poisoning. His condition worsened rapidly, and he died in Cairo on April 5, 1923, at the age of 56. The moment he passed, all the lights in Cairo mysteriously went out, plunging the city into darkness. But the eeriest part? Thousands of miles away in England, Carnarvon's beloved terrier, Susie, let out a piercing howl and dropped dead at the exact same time as her master. Coincidence, or something far more chilling? The whispers of a curse grew louder as more deaths followed. George J. Gould, an American millionaire who visited the tomb, fell mysteriously ill and died on May 16, 1923. Aubrey Herbert, Carnarvon's half-brother, suffered a sudden and total loss of sight before dying on September 23, 1923, from blood poisoning, eerily similar to his brother's cause of death. Richard Bethel, Carter's personal secretary, was found dead in his bed in 1929. Some say smothered, others claim it was suicide. His father, Lord Westbury, was so haunted by his son's death that he threw himself from a 7-story building in 1930, leaving behind a chilling note about the curse. Arthur Mace, a key member of Carter's excavation team, began suffering from extreme exhaustion and sudden paralysis. He slipped into a coma and never woke up, dying in 1928. His family, convinced the tomb had something to do with his death, refused to discuss the matter. Then there was Hugh Evelyn White, an archaeologist who worked on cataloging the artifacts. He grew increasingly paranoid, convinced that something was following him. Before taking his own life in 1924, he scrawled a message in his own blood, hinting that he had fallen victim to the pharaoh's wrath. By the time the tally reached over a dozen, newspapers around the world were in a frenzy. Some researchers pointed to the unsettling fact that many of those who died had been present when the tomb was first breached, as if the curse specifically targeted those who disturbed Tutankhamun's rest. Scientists and historians had their own theories. Some suggested that deadly bacteria or mold had been sealed within the tomb for over 3,000 years. Studies on other ancient tombs have shown that dangerous fungi, like Aspergillus flavus, which can cause respiratory failure, were present in such environments. When Carter and his team disturbed the chamber, they may have inhaled toxic spores, leading to fatal illnesses. A 2002 study by the National Geographic Society found that ancient tombs often contained high concentrations of ammonia, formaldehyde, and hydrogen sulfide, gases that could cause asphyxiation. The idea that the tomb harbored deadly pathogens was further supported by microbiologists who identified Pseudomonas and Staphylococcus strains in other excavations, both capable of causing severe infections in those with weakened immune systems. However, skeptics pointed out that many of those involved, like Carter himself, lived for decades after the excavation. Carter, the very man who had first laid eyes on the treasures, survived until 1939, passing away from lymphoma at the age of 64. If the curse was real, why had it spared him? However, skeptics couldn't explain the eerie deaths of pets, the strange timing of electrical blackouts, or the relentless streak of misfortune. Even today, with all our knowledge, the shadow of the curse lingers in public imagination. Was it psychological, a self-fulfilling prophecy, or was there truly something inexplicable at play? A century has passed, yet the legend of the pharaoh's curse refuses to fade. The tale of Tutankhamun's tomb remains one of history's greatest enigmas, a story woven with gold and wrapped in whispers of death. The numbers are staggering. Out of the 58 people present during the opening of the tomb, 25 had died within a decade. Statistically, this was within normal life expectancy for the time, but the eerie pattern fueled the myth further. Some believe the ancient Egyptians had knowledge of poisons and slow-acting toxins that could explain the deaths. Others insist on supernatural forces at work. Perhaps the fear of the unknown is more powerful than we realize. Ancient Egyptians believed in magic, in the power of words, and in the forces that guarded the afterlife. Could it be that their warnings, carved into stone, carried a power beyond our comprehension? Or is it simply that death and misfortune follow those who seek to disturb the past? One thing is certain. When Carter unlocked that tomb, he unearthed more than just treasures. He awoke a tale that refuses to rest in peace. And as long as the world remains fascinated by the mysteries of ancient Egypt, the legend of the curse will never truly die.